Most of you know his name, Nelson Mandela. He was born in South Africa in 1918 and grew up under the crushing weight of the racist policies of apartheid. He was able to get an education and came to realize that his calling in life was to stand up against the oppression that was being experienced by his people. Eventually, he was arrested and convicted of treason, and he spent the next 27 years in a South African prison cell. 27 years of his life stolen because he dared to call for equality. I wonder how much hate I would feel, how much resentment I would experience if someone stole 27 years of my life. I get mad if I have to wait 27 minutes at the DMV or wait 27 seconds while the microwave heats my tea water. As you know, Mandela was eventually freed from prison and was elected president of his country. And he spoke eloquently about the experience of growing up in that unjust society, how he languished in prison, and how he could never regain those years which were taken from him. But Mandela also spoke about forgiveness. And in one speech, Mandela said the following words. He said, "Resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping that it will kill your enemies." Resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping that will kill your enemies. When he said that, I think that Mandela was tapping into a truth that is contained in the repeated commands of Jesus about forgiveness. How often in the Gospels do we hear Jesus say things like, forgive those who trespass against you, forgive 70 times 7 times. If you forgive others, you will experience forgiveness yourself. If you do not forgive, then neither will your Father forgive you. If we withhold forgiveness, our lives will be weighed down with the pain and the anger and the burdens which distance us from God and separate us from each other. If we don't forgive, it's like drinking poison and hoping it will still kill our enemies somehow. Ultimately, the person who's injured by our lack of forgiveness is us. And what's killed is the spirit within us. So in today's gospel, Jesus teaches to pray, and in that short prayer, he includes this line: "Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us." The forgiveness does not come naturally in many situations. We have to decide to strive for it. Our head often has to lead our heart. The Holy Spirit has to move us in ways we don't want to move. Notice that in the Gospels, Jesus commands that we forgive. He doesn't suggest it. He tells us that we have to pray for the power to experience forgiveness and the power to forgive. Without prayer, without the Lord's Prayer, it's not possible. The great Protestant theologian Stanley Hauerwas noted this about what Jesus says in the Lord's Prayer. Hauerwas said that in commanding us to forgive others, Jesus isn't saying that the injustice we experience is inconsequential. The sin we commit causes real pain. The sins committed against us cause real pain. But Hauerwas says that Jesus is refusing to let sin have the last word in the world's story. In commanding us to forgive, Jesus isn't interested in producing a church full of victims. Rather, in commanding us to forgive, Jesus is inviting us to take charge, to turn the world in a different direction, to throw a monkey wrench in the eternal wheel of vengeance. We can choose forgiveness. The courage to forgive others is engendered by the humble admission that we need forgiveness ourselves. And so we come to the Lord in this sacrament, and at the beginning of every Mass we say, Lord, have mercy. When we are forgiven, God gives us the ability to forgive. When we refuse to forgive, we refuse to be free. And so Jesus taught us to pray, forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. So we will pray that prayer later in this Mass, a prayer that requires hard spiritual work. And then we will receive the bread of life. We receive Christ himself in this Eucharist, who looked down from his place on the cross and said, Father, forgive them,